Yes, Marcel said, Sifu, if I may add one more question that I've already planned to ask on Saturday. Oh, so you want to ask on Saturday?
Anything, Shifu.
I will just read the question. Maybe those who have questions, you all can ask today also. When doing the Who Am I exercise, two roles stand out to me as sticking to me for my whole life: human and male. Apart from birth and death, I'm always a human and I'm always a male. Is this statement mistaken as well? You are not a human, nor are you a male. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good that you spotted this. The first one is the human part. Yeah, in some classes, nobody spotted. Yeah. In fact, in this class, I think nobody mentioned about laksa leaf. I don't know. I can't remember. I think nobody mentioned anything about laksa leaf. Similar to the notion of being human. Yeah. So, you know, when we look at the emptiness of laksa, right? So we start off with the taste, then later we go into the name, and then we go into the body itself, the laksa itself, right? So as we break down the component, then we say that from all these components, then, and in fact, it must be the right composition, the right amount for each of them, then is considered laksa. Too much water, then longgang zui. Yeah. Of course, nowadays we are the hawkers, the cooks are very innovative. We have dry laksa. Yeah. So then, as we go through the items, then there was one class. Someone asked, "How about laksa leaf? How about laksa leaf?" Then everybody, "Oh yeah, laksa leaf." Oh. But in some stalls, if you don't put in the laksa, you can, you can ask not to put in the laksa leaf, right? Traditionally, they will just throw it in. But in some stalls, you can ask the one that you don't want the laksa leaf, because the laksa leaf, it has a certain tangy kick to it. Some people don't like it. So then if you don't put in laksa leaf, is it still laksa? Huh? Cannot say that it's not laksa, right? Can you say that it's not laksa? So of course, some may say no, then it's not laksa. So does it mean that laksa leaf itself contains all the essence of laksa? You also cannot say that it contains all the essence of laksa. Even though if a person say you don't put in laksa leaf, then it's not laksa, you still cannot say that the laksa leaf is laksa, because if the laksa leaf is laksa, then you just eat laksa leaf. Then next time anyone can open a laksa store, just buy a lot of laksa leaf. One bowl of laksa, then whole bowl of the laksa leaf. Now, where's the noodle? No, last year in the Heart Sutra class, Member Changpan already settled. Laksa is just the laksa leaf. So laksa leaf is also not laksa. And even the laksa leaf itself, we call it laksa leaf. So did the leaf come first or the laksa dish come first? We know that names are all artificial, so name must come later. Yeah. So the leaf itself also don't have laksa name. Yeah. No, the question is, where did the laksa come from? Yeah, this laksa concept and laksa name come from, right? And what has it got to do with Marcel's question of him being a human? Yeah. or male for that matter. Now, Marcel is having identity crisis. Am I really not a human? Quick, look at the mirror. Look at your own screen. Am I human? Looks human, what? Yeah. So, because we are all human, because in Singapore, we are brought up in Singapore and Malaysia, at least, most of us have gone through similar kind of education. Uh, even if you are older, we are already introduced the concept that we belong to a category of, of beings called human. But this is just an idea. To a baby, we are not human. You know, human only exists to human. You don't realize that? You don't realize that we are not human. 我们不是人。So the ant that's crawling on your body, you think that the ant knows there is a human? The ant cannot even see you completely. Yeah. To most insects, it doesn't know that it is a human. Yeah. There I say even dogs. Yeah. Especially all the dog and cat lovers, all the pet owners. We feel like, oh, your pet knows you. Actually, the pet has no idea. The pet has some idea of you. Okay. The cat is also not enlightened, has some idea of you. And because most pets are big enough, they are able to perceive the whole of us, right? Unless your pet is a cockroach, then it'll be a bit tough. But their idea of us is different of our idea of us. Our idea of us is this is human. 我像人像 we have an idea of a human. It's just an idea though. Yeah. So even this is dependent on the fact that we say we are human is dependent on our idea of a human. Then you can say, I'm human. And besides that, even if we say, hey, but how about this physical form? How about the fact that I'm a human? I'm this lah. Don't say it's human. Well, there are conditions required for you to be born a human. You're not inherently human also. It's due to conditions that we are born a human. Yeah. Without the conditions, we're not human. And that's why we can be born as a cockroach. We can be born as a this, as a that. Further, if we say human, when we say human, it means that we are not enlightened. The fact that the unenlightenedness, yeah, the tendency to do stupid things, this is also not inherent. It's due to conditions. What condition? Due to ignorance. How about the ignorance? Due to past ignorance. But because it's due to conditions, it can change. And so now human, at another point in time, you will learn, practice, you can reach a point where you're not so human. You go beyond the human limitations. Yeah. But the male part is more interesting. Yeah, the male part is more interesting. How are you defined as a male? Nowadays, you go online. A lot of the online celebrities, not I don't know lah. I heard lah. I read. Some of them look female but not female. You know, just look female, right? So you cannot define a male by the looks also. Even before internet celebrity and makeup came about, in our neighboring country, there are a lot of female that is not female. Yeah, the boy and girl, right? Yeah. And now with internet, you can see them in their full glory without going there. Yeah. But Sifu, that is just makeup and so on. Well, in US, because of the pervasive use of soya inside the feed for cows, and then Americans eat beef, right? So I read some papers that they say that because soya contains estrogen, yeah, men has testosterone, more testosterone, right? Female has more estrogen. We actually, men and women have both, but there's a certain balance. A certain balance, then you exhibit more maleness. And a certain, if you have more estrogen, you exhibit more femaleness. So in US, there's some study and they found that men start to have the features of women. Yeah, the chest area. Yeah, myself. So in fact, not just in US, when men, so scientists and doctors, they are doing some studies about whether men has menopause. It's called it's not called menopause. It's called something else. I can't remember the term. But our testosterone can also do. I mean, your maleness also gone. Yeah. And that's why some women, when they reach menopause, then some of them, their body hair start to come out because the hormones imbalance. Yeah, but we are so used to being, I meant what? You see, I have this, I have that what? But science tell us that you don't need psychic power to go and see. Yeah, science tell us that with our physical appearance, the maleness, the femaleness, including our voice, all this is actually due to conditions. In medical science, then it's called the either genetics or the what RNA, whatever. A lot of things. A lot of things. A lot of hormones are a lot related to hormones and stuff like that. Correct or not?
Sorry, which part?
Some part is not correct.
It's some part I don't know. Some parts I'm not sure. Yeah. But
But
but it's I think the balance of the hormones I learned before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our idea of that we are male or female is put to question also. Yeah. So related to this is another question. Is butter soft? Butter is soft, right? No, you put inside the fridge, then it become hard, right? But let's say the butter is in room temperature, in Singapore room temperature. Yeah, you must specify also, you see. So room temperature doesn't mean it's Singapore room temperature, right? So you see, it's actually conditioned. But because in Singapore, our room temperature is never 5 degrees Celsius. So we always feel that butter at room temperature will be soft. But butter doesn't have inherent hardness or softness. It depends on the temperature, simply as that. If you live in Finland, don't have to be in Finland, in US, in our monastery, if we want something to be cold, we just take it out of the fridge. We put it by the window, we open the window, we put it there. After 5 minutes, can become frozen. Yeah, the chocolate never melt one. The ice cream, you take it out, you take out and you put in the fridge, not much difference. Yeah. So, but because, and how about the wall? The wall is hard, right? Yeah. Anybody disagree that the wall is hard? Well, we all have to agree that wall is hard, right? Who don't agree, knock your head against the wall. Go and try. Who don't agree? Who thinks that the wall is not inherently hard? Go and knock. Inherently hard what? Hey, Sifu, I thought you're trying to teach us that things are not inherent. It's not inherently hard. But with respect to us, because we are the part of the conditions, if we use ourselves to go and feel whether it's hard, our conditions never change. So it's relative to us, it's hard. So no matter how you try in this lifetime, it's going to be hard. Yeah. So that's the problem with our perception. Because if certain conditions remain fairly static and we have never experienced something that is beyond the conditions we have, then we end up thinking that that is an inherent characteristics. Just like when you encounter someone and the person is late today, tomorrow you encounter also late. So if most of the time you encounter a person and the person is late, you feel like the person is always late. But that is not always true. Yeah. You encounter a person and a person, the way the person talk is always like very like very antagonistic, yeah, or irritating. Maybe you encounter a person, you feel irritated by the person. And when people say, no, he's quite okay. No lah, you think I'm biased? The person really irritating, no, every time, no. Yeah, people always say every time. Is it when people want to emphasize that point, they always say, it's every time. Why? Yeah, and you cannot deny that if the person really experiences every time, then a tendency to have this wrong perception, the wrong view is, as far as I'm concerned, the person is irritating. What? That is not a wrong statement. The wrong statement will be to think that the irritatingness is inherent in that person. Yeah. Yeah. So take a new look at the whole world. But before you all go and try out things, as far as the war is concerned, it's still hard, okay? And if you open the window, open the grill, you look down, that height, respect to us, is still that height. You jump down, confirm. That one don't have to try, okay? As far as our human lifetime is concerned, gravity will still be like that. Yeah. Although according to quantum physics, it says that it is only a possibility that if you jump down, you will die. Except that the possibility curve, right, tends towards very strongly that you will die. So within most human beings' lifetime, if you jump, you die. Don't have to try. Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think there's Gurmit Singh? Gurmit Singh, his talk show, right? And then the Liang Po Po, right? Liang Zhiqiang, he act Liang Po Po, right? Or Marcel maybe don't know because Marcel, do you know Marcel? Do you know who is Liang Po Po?
No.
I don't know. Go and search Liang Po Po. So it's a persona acted by this Singapore actor. Yeah, he acts as a old lady in various skits, and I think in some movies also, his own movies. Yeah. Oh. But to me, the even more important point is go and observe yourself. Humanness is usually not an issue because we are all human. So, so because we are all human, there's nothing to discriminate against each other. Right? Have you ever heard of someone, a group of people discriminating against another group of people for being human? Because it's a common trait. Why is that discriminate? You human, I also human. What are you talking about? but we discriminate against other human for the color of their skin, for their so-called race. Actually, race has no biological basis. Yeah, race is just physical appearances that came about because of evolution. Yeah. But there's one thing that is mentioned by Marcel in his question that has divided people for so long, and it's our gender. We are so attached to who we are as a man, as a woman, that we discriminate against each other. Yeah. Simply because women look a certain way, simply because men look a certain way. Yeah. That we think of ourselves as somehow we're a collective. And then you all are a different collective. But we are all sentient beings suffering in samsara. You know? Yeah. Yes, there are biological differences. We don't say that there are no differences, right? Yeah. But are we strictly speaking discriminating based on those biological differences? Yeah. Many times we are discriminating because of the herd mentality. I belong to this tribe, yeah, or herd mentality or tribe mentality. Yeah. I belong to this tribe, you belong to that tribe. Actually, this is also related to another thing that I wanted to write about. And it's called the fan club mentality. Yeah. I think maybe I should write it down, leave you all in suspense a bit. Yeah, because it's also time already. And okay, so Marcel, I hope you have your answer. Then think about it. Think about it. Yeah, every day you wake up, you look at the mirror. Am I a man? Uh, I'm not saying you are not a man. Don't 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 after a few more lessons then decide to change into something else. Yeah. But more about when we hold on so strongly to the idea that I'm a this or I'm a that, then there's something that you think there is to protect and to fight against. Yeah. That's all. That's the basis for all the different kind of conflicts.